Shabbat Shalom, family. Welcome to another week of the Torah portion. This week's Torah portion is called Vayakhel, and he assembled. And it's found in Exodus 35, 1 through chapter 38 and 20. The reading in the prophets is found in 1 Kings chapter 7, 13 through 50. The Psalms can be found in Psalm 69 and 70. And the renewed covenant, the New Testament portion, can be found in 2 Corinthians 9, 1 through 15. Let us begin. So this week's Torah portion starts off in Exodus, getting ready, where the people are getting ready to build the temple. Yahweh explained to Moses what he wanted, that he wanted to dwell among his people. That should already sound familiar, because in John chapter 1, John explains that Yeshua came to dwell among the people. And that word dwell actually means to pitch a tent, which is very similar to what the temple looked like in the early going in the wilderness. They literally built tents, a large tent that covered the multitude of the people. It showed the grandeur of God and how he would dwell amongst his people. But to do that, he needed people to first give of a willing heart, contribute to the building of the temple. Now, many people, I've heard many pastors, leaders in church explain how much the people had received monetary gifts, things that were worthwhile when coming out of Egypt. But what good was all of that going to do them in the wilderness? There was nothing that they were going to be able to spend it on. There was nothing that they were going to be able to buy in the wilderness. So here was the true purpose of them receiving the goods that they spoiled from Egypt. It was for the very purpose of this, for building God's tabernacle. So by the time we get to the beginning phases, the construction of the temple, in chapter 35 and 30 of Exodus, it says, "Then Moses said to the people of Israel, 'See, the Lord has called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. And he has filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill, with intelligence, with knowledge, and with craftsmanship, to devise artistic designs, to work in gold and silver and bronze, and cutting stones for setting in, carving wood for work in every skilled craft. And he has inspired him to teach both him and Holiab, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan. And he has filled them with skill to do every sort of work done by an engraver or by a designer or by an embroiderer in blue and purple and scarlet yarns and fine twined linen, or by a weaver, by any sort of workman or skilled designer.'" I find it very interesting that the very choice of words that Moses used to describe the skill of those who were chosen to work upon the temple of God. He said that he filled them with the Spirit. Did you know that you can be anointed and filled with the Spirit of God to do the job that you have? Your skill set is very important. What you do matters. It's not just working inside the four walls of our congregational meeting place, but it's what the work that you do outside that you bring with you to the inside that matters. You can be filled with the Spirit to do every single work that glorifies God. Obviously, it's just written right here that he filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill, with intelligence, with knowledge, and with all craftsmanship. Your work matters. What you do for the Lord matters. What you do on your job matters. Because if God has filled you with his Spirit to do certain things, to be filled with knowledge and intelligence, then what you're doing is a representation of him no matter where you are. It's very much as Paul said, we are written epistles by God, no matter where we go, to be read by all men. So no matter where you are a representative of God himself. As the scriptures have said, we are ambassadors. We are his ambassadors to be a representative of Yah. So what you do, how you live, how you move, what you speak, how you teach others, what you say, how you train, everything that you think may be small in your eyes is actually greater than what you may have originally believed. What you do for the Lord matters. I remember years ago being taught as a young man, as a teenager, my teacher in our Bible studies always made it a point to say that only what you do for Christ will last. And here I am to say the same thing, repeat those same words, that only what we do for Yah will matter and will last. But that doesn't mean that you are supposed to just work inside the four walls. What you bring to the four walls of the congregation, it matters. Who you are, your particular skill set, the intelligence God has granted you matters. What you bring to the house of the Lord matters much. Your presence inside the church matters. Your skill set that you bring. Everyone has a unique set of skills that can be used by Yah to advance his kingdom. Even in our giving to our congregation, it matters. Everything that was given was for the sole purpose of building up the tabernacle, just so Yah could dwell within his people. He wanted to come down and show that, yes, I can be here and still be inside each and every one of us all at the same time. Why? Because he's God and he's able to do exceedingly and abundantly all that we can ask or think. He is just that strong, just that powerful. And this isn't the first time, especially when we consider the quote-unquote Old Testament, that Yah has done this. When we look at the Haftorah, the prophets, in 1 Kings, we can see that he did the same thing with Solomon. He said he filled him with his spirit. And what does Solomon do? He sets out to build the tabernacle. And he also used other people who were anointed and appointed to be skilled craftsmen to build up certain items within the temple itself and made it grander than what it was previously. But it was what God used him to do to dwell among his people, while at the same time showing that he could dwell inside the people of God. He is big enough to do both. He is bad enough to do both. He is able to do whatever he sets out to do. And if he was able to do that, then he's able to anoint each and every one of us to do what we do, to bring that skill set, that anointing to the people of God. Some people may think that their job or what they do, what they have learned is humdrum. It means nothing. But I promise you, everything that we do, everything that we learn can be used as long as you are called according to the purpose of Yah. And I believe that we have been called, set aside, purposely being used for the work of the Lord. So I would ask you, I would present to you just a question. What is your skill set? What has God anointed you to do that no one else can do? I would say take a look inside, pray. Ask God to reveal what his purpose is for your life. What has he anointed you to do? What skill set do you bring that no one else has? Because he is big enough, awesome enough, strong enough to again dwell within each and every person, to be the same God and yet individually use the skills that he has anointed each and every one of us with to bring something unique and wonderful to his table. That's why Paul wrote in Corinthians that we are one body, yet many parts. Not everyone can be an eye. Not everyone can be a mouth. Not everyone can be a nose. Who holds us up internally? Who is the one that does the inside work that's not seen? Who is the heart of the congregation? Who has the ear to hear? Who has the feet who moves things forward? Who has the hands that can grasp any task that is set before them? Every one of us is unique and uniquely anointed to do the will of Yah. I would say pray. If you don't know, pray. God will reveal it. He will reveal it to you in time, just like he did in the wilderness. I pray that this blesses you. And I pray that every single one of us finds our purpose in Yah. God bless you. Shabbat Shalom.